So what's the next age interval? 7 to?
7 to 10.
7 to 10, okay.
7 to 10. That is when they get busier with life.
Okay.
They go to school lah, basically.
But I think emotionally also they are more macam
Independent.
Like macam below 7, if you ask them to do something, like ambilkan something, for
They will
example,
do.
they will do. But this one, like after 7, ambilkan something. Why? Why me?
Ask somebody else.
Ask somebody else.
Always I do.
So
Always
yeah.
I do.
Oh,
So
I'm tired.
7 and above is, I feel, is the time when dorang like to disobey lah. Like start to disobey.
Actually, their character is formed.
Character.
That's what's happening. Below 7, they are just your yes men.
Yeah.
More or less lah. I know there are tantrums and whatsoever lah, but below 7, usually okay. But as 7 above, they begin to develop their personality and their character. So they begin to have their own identity lah. You know, mashallah. And of course, the nafs also get stronger as they're exposed to more things that will attract the nafs. Like friends, videos, play, school, and also more things in their life to handle. Homework. So they get tired on a few things they're doing. So the prayer still has to be established lah. Right. So at this point, so all the way, even from 5 years old, I would say, stories. Right? But stories that are, motivating stories.
Positive stories.
Positive stories about the prayer. Right? So usually I'll tell stories of Isra and Mi'raj. I'll tell the story of Rasulullah SAW. Once in his prayer, he was seen to reach out. And then he stopped. And then Sahabi, Rasulullah, we saw you reaching out. Right? Then you stop. Why do you do that? Then he said, because when I was praying, I could see paradise. And I saw the grapes of paradise. And I was about to reach out for one of the grapes of paradise. Then I stopped. Had I taken, you would have continued to the day of judgment. It wouldn't finish. The kind of stories I'll tell children, or Sayyidina Ali and the blind man. There are many stories, and I'm seeing all the stories here and there. Sayyidina Ali and the blind man brought the man to the salat. The story of the Arab, the Bedouin, where Rasulullah said, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Then the voice, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, hamdan kasiran tayyiban mubarakan fi. There was a man. It's not stories lah. He said super loud. The dua. And after the prayer or something, who said that? extra add in dua. And then the man at first didn't want to say anything. Because he was shy. He thought he got into trouble. And Rasulullah said, no, I want to know who said it. Then the man said, it was me. But I only wanted good.
Only what?
Wanted good. I only wanted goodness. That's all I wanted. The Rasulullah said, I saw how many angels rushing to write down. Who is the first to write down what you just said and bring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These kind of things are positive stories around Salat. So many positive stories around Salat. And stories about our zaman, people who dua every day. So like every day, the man who prayed in his grave. So many stories. I can tell you so many stories.
Jenazah stories ada tak?
God, about
Jenazah
people who
story.
pray. Positive stories first.
Positive stories lah.
Positive
Positive stories.
Of course, the other side also plenty. Of those who don't pray. That one I will reserve
for
to
now,
after 7.
After 7. So before 7 is positive stories. And get them to see, actually the other impact of these stories is that you get to see by default. You get to see like okay, praying is something we do by default. Even people from last time and all that, they have seen it. And then also our parents at home, they always pray. So it's like inculcated as something that is just part of life.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
But after 7, once the nafs starts coming in, the laziness starts coming in, deterrent must start coming in. You must have deterrent. That's why when they look at parenting, the first 7 is play to build a bond. 7 to 14, discipline has to come in. As people who say no such thing as punishment. No. There is such thing as punishment.
So there's hellfire and there's Jannah.
Yeah, Allah
Precisely.
Himself.
So when do we bring this in? Let's say 7 to 10. So what happens at 7?
So still encouragement. But if you see them really disobedient.
Okay.
Once
Disobey
disobedience
before
come
7
in.
ke? Ni cakap.
Yeah.
After.
Disobedience.
After 7.
After
So,
7.
after 7. So before 7, they do what they do lah. But once 7 and above, and there is an outright disobedience. So you go and pray Zuhur, don't want.
Yeah.
Right. Alright. Opposite my child. Do you say don't want to me? That kind of thing. Also, you want to also start to gear them towards prayer for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not for me, not for your mother, for Allah. So you're doing this for Allah, not because I'm here to tell you to do it. You're doing it for me. That has to be gradually implanted lah, because when they go to school, they have to drive to be the ones to look for a place to pray.
Yeah, correct.
No one sees them. Allah sees them. We're doing it for Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Right? So at the point of really outright disobedience, but hopefully it does not reach there lah. The method that I'm sharing right now, right, is really a preventive method. Whereby from the beginning you start strong.
You build
There
a
are
foundation
other
first.
other ways of, let's say, I missed the whole thing. Now my child is 15.
Then what to do?
That one has a different set of advice lah. Or my child now is 12, 11. I never did this whole thing from the time they were. I even dua for them also. That kind of thing. Then the whole thing. I missed the whole thing. The whole shit has sailed. And now they are 11 and they can't pray. They don't want to pray. It's super hard for them. How am I going to start? Again, you can't jump to deterrence straight away. You still have to go do the work that you missed out.
You can just say, apa kalau tak salat, if you don't pray, you will go to hellfire.
To the hellfire. Then that becomes a repulsion instead of a deterrence.
So you got to restart. So even if you started late, you got to restart and go through the whole process that
From zero, okay.
Yeah.
You need to learn instead in them, but you got it quickly lah. Because they're already 11, they dah balik, they get puberty, everything. And so the sins are getting counted. But of course it's your negligence lah from the beginning. But of course I know some people say, for me now I just changed. I just got into prayer. And my child's already, 12 years old. I can put the brakes on their development while I'm catching up myself. So of course then the dua is still there. Dua. Especially if you yourself are trying, you can say to your child who's now 12, we are trying together. And Mama also trying to do it. Abba also trying to do it. We know we have to do it. Okay, come, let's do it together.
Then what if they say, but some of my uncles don't do it?
Yeah.
If
Macam one of my friends lah, she just got back from the parenting class from Hubaba. So she was trying to educate her child lah, like telling the child about prayers. And then after that, the child macam, oh, I never see Baba pray. I never see Baba pray. Then of course lah, she brings in the husnuzon.
Of course, we can say that he does pray, but you never see lah.
But I never see lah.
He
Then
pray
that's
at
what she
work.
said lah.
He pray at work. But if let's say the child does know people who really don't pray, his friends. So now they're in school.
Okay.
In school, they can ask their friends, hey, do you pray Zohor? No lah, we never pray anything. My whole family don't pray. We have friends in school. I know in school, I was only 2 or 3 of us prayed.
Yeah.
The whole class didn't pray. I mean, they don't pray. It's very common, people don't pray.
Yeah, it's very common.
So, of course, in that situation, I mean, as the parent, if they ask you like some questions, you say, doa lah. Doa for your friend. Doa for your friend. And make sure, InshaAllah, everybody starts to pray. So doa for them. Invite them to pray. Want to go and pray? Go invite your friend to pray with you. Right? That's it. We don't need to judge anybody. Just doa, invite. Full stop.
Then this one about the father? About the Baba?
Baba never pray.
He does pray.
I
I
think
I'm not sure. Maybe when we are all asleep, he prays.
got all the prayers from Subuh.
He pray at work. Maybe he prays at work. Maybe he go masjid, he pray. He pray at masjid.
Or like pray in the room lah. You never see.
Yeah. But of course,
I think it's important to give husnuzon lah, especially to the father.
Yeah. But for those who are fathers here, it's best that you be the leader of the family lah, and that you are the imam of the family and you lead the prayers. It's really a lot of things are tied to the father.
Actually, Jemaah every waktu plays a part lah.
Yeah,
It does.
correct.
Very
There's a
strong.
lot of barakah in it.
Yeah.
It's not, okay, it's barakah, of course lah, there's barakah in it. But it's more of the toddler will see.
Yeah.
And even 6-7-year-olds, if they're not joining yet, they will see.
Yeah.
The elder siblings and the parents praying together. And might be a bit like FOMO lah.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this about?
Yeah. And it's the crowd pull lah. It's always crowd, what do you call it? The herd mentality. Yeah, there's a whole crowd Jemaah. Everyone does it. You do it.
Yeah. Because the motivation is different. Actually, not just Jemaah, even something as simple as exercise.
Yeah.
If 3 people are exercising, you will also feel like you want to join.
Yeah,
You know?
correct.
It's like, I don't know lah, that's how I feel.
So you as a parent need to be proper first lah, to be praying first lah.
And then get them to experience the joy of Jemaah. The joy of giving salam together. And because there is a joy in that after you finish praying.
Hugging.
Assalamualaikum
Especially you hug
warahmatullah.
them and you kiss
Hugging,
them and they get
kissing.
happy.
Yeah.
So
then
there is a
talking to
family
them.
togetherness there, which is quite the same as the togetherness they feel when they buka puasa together.
Yeah. And there's a lot of praises as well. You praise. You praise and you praise. So well done. So clever lah, mashallah.
So even if they don't pray the whole
Solat.
solat, but they just come in right at the end just to experience the
Salam.
last minute joy and the salam, okay lah for a start.
Yeah, okay lah kan.
For below 5-year-old lah.
Below 5 lah. Needs to be age appropriate lah kan.
If your 9-year-old is doing that, no problem.
If it's a 9-year-old, just join the salam.
Where were you? Dah kena marah.
Dah malu saya.
Where were you the whole prayer? The 9 years old already.
Shame on you. Okay.
So in the age as they grow older, if you do find resistance right towards the prayer, stories of those who don't pray should start coming in, right? Especially stories of janazah. That one really impacts them.
Effective
Is that my age?
7 and above.
That means, but usually above 10 lah.
Okay.
Oh, above 10?
7 and above, but usually I will lay it on lightly, not so heavy. So usually around 9, 10, right, when they can take it. So this kind of things, right, you don't target them directly, but keep encouraging. Then, which is why it's also important as family to have times whereby you sit down and you converse. You know that day, mashallah, or you feed your children food, or you sit together as a family having dinner, all that, and you say, there's a story that day, Ustazah was sharing, in class. And they actually on my, I have a WhatsApp group on story about this true story in Malaysia, about this man. Right, he passed away on the accident and then he was in the mortuary. Then this ustad came. Right, he was in the mortuary for 1 week in the freezer. So the ustad came to him. They call it ustad inna because nobody claimed the body. So the ustad usually would be the one to wash and then bring to the graveyard, pray over, and then just tanam or bury because nobody claimed the body. I mean, it happens like in Malaysia lah, unidentified body. So the story, it's true story. I read this. I mean, I heard this ustad. That's just true story. And I shared the children, and it affected them. So this boy, he came to the mortuary. So this person passed away in the bike accident, right? And then very fair-skinned, young man. So the ustad was like, okay, leave him out. Must thaw the body first before can wash because it was frozen. Thaw the body first. So as he was walking out, he saw an old woman coming, and the woman was like, I heard that a young man passed away. His name is this name. And then the so I just took out his body. And we thought there was no family. The woman said, he is my son. Let me see him. So true story in Malaysia. So you went there, when you open up the same person you just saw a few seconds ago, the body was black. It was a fair young man. Now it's a black human being. Burnt, not black skin, but burnt human being. Charred, human being. So the woman was like, this is not my son. My son is fair. And the ustad said, no, the name is the name you said. Look again. The ustad also was like shocked because he saw with his own eyes the boy was fair. It's a few seconds ago. Right. So the woman looked and then she looked carefully at the face and she began to cry and cry and cry. Yes, he is my son. But he's fair. Then the ustad said, tell me, what did your son do that has led to this? Tell me. Right, because the whole time I saw with my own eyes, he was fair. In a few seconds, he turned black and burnt his whole body. Then the woman said, my son, he was dutiful towards me as a son. Whatever I asked him, he will do. Early in the morning, if I say I want to buy something, he will go and he will buy. But he will never pray. I will say to him, pray, Subhanallah, pray. He will never go to the prayer. This is what has happened to him. So it does affect them when you bring this kind of.
When you visualize it and you think about it, you
Yeah.
go through the emotions that the mother is feeling.
And then she was crying that he refused to pray. And I have a lot of stories of those who refused to pray. They couldn't carry her janazah. So heavy. It's as if the janazah was terrified of the grave. So I had to read Fatiha and read Quran and Quran to try and to bring janazah to its grave. There are ustaz.
Malaysia, it's not Malaysia.
No, some of them in the Arab world.
Okay.
The Arab world. There are mashaykh that collect these stories. I heard of one ustad, one sheikh. He the janazah held the table. Always asks the family,
What did they do?
right? So all ibrah lah, less. Right, so this thing works. It works. So if our older children, adults, it works. I taught of kids once, and I spoke about the punishment of missing subuh, and missing zohor, and missing asar, and missing maghrib, missing isha. You know, I spoke about the immense punishment lah. The next day, so many of the mothers messaged me, "What do you say?"
Actually, that's the next part.
Ah,
That's the next part. We're going to talk about kids, right? So I think we should move on to teenagers.
Yalah.
So this is what happened.
they were surprised. My daughter woke up today by herself.
Masya
What
Allah.
are you saying, guys?
Masya Allah.
Yes, I've been screaming at her.
Effective So screaming doesn't work lah kan.
I went through the punishments. Oh my gosh.
Screaming works to get them to wake up
No lah, but it's still not effective. Macam you kasih satu story, diorang wake up by themselves.
What was this?
The janazah story lah kan.
No, there was
This is
this
different
Different.
there was this like statements, like it's not a hadith or anything lah, but it's like statements like those who don't pray subuh, right? The punishment is like 70,000 years in the hellfire. These are big sins. It's a kaba'ir. It's a big sin, right? So those who don't pray is it's worse than tearing down the Kaaba. Those who don't pray, there are things that it's all words of the scholars lah. There was this kind of, as long as you don't say to them directly that they are in the hellfire. There's the issue. There are parents that goes direct to them, put hellfire. There was somebody buried and the brother, his wallet fell in the grave. And he came after that to get his wallet and he saw his sister being burnt in the grave. All true stories. He went back to his mother, "Mom, I saw our sister being burnt." Then the mother cried. The mother said because she never wanted to pray. Always not praying. For me, usually my own experience, like my own students, even teenagers, 1 or 2 stories enough. You don't need like 10 stories. 1 or 2. In fact, if the 1 or 2 doesn't work on them, it's not gonna work on them.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Of
Then what do you do?
punishment stories working on them, you tell 10 it won't work. Because you're not affected by me saying that someone was burned in their grave by not praying.
Then they cannot be give up
What else can I say? Kan?
So doa.
Doa.
Dua is always there. Dua is by
I don't know, but then macam if you dah tell 2 stories.
Has a hardened heart. Which is scary lah.
Nauzubillah.
How the child reached that part whereby they're unaffected by stories of punishment nor reward.
Have you ever experienced that kind of students before?
They won't be students lah, but they will be children of students lah.
Yalah. Have you ever?
I have friends like that.
Friends?
Friends lah from school.
Okay.
So I have friends from school. Students, alhamdulillah, they respond well. But friends who are indifferent. They are indifferent.
As in like you have friends, you tell them these stories
Yeah,
and they are not affected.
not affected.
Oh.
They're indifferent.
They are not
Usually
connected
it's
maybe.
because they don't have an upbringing.
Yeah.
So that really goes back to the iman already. The iman is very weak. So the belief in the hereafter, they're Muslims, but the belief in the hereafter is not strong at all. I met a person some time ago, a guy. Like he had brought his fiancée who was a non-Muslim. Okay, so to talk to me lah. The mother made him come and talk to me. So about because trying to convince the girl to come into Islam, okay, so that can nikah and everything lah. But it was difficult to talk,
Right.
because the Muslim himself wasn't praying and was not bothered about praying and was not bothered about the akhirah. So how am I going to convince him that his fiancée needs to come into Islam when he has no sense of the akhirah himself? He's not someone who is bothered about his place. So you can't talk to such a person. You gotta go back to Aqidah, back to Iman. But if they're in their teens, in their 20s, their 30s, and it's gonna be a lot of work. And they must want to taubat. and come back to the deen and relearn their aqidah. This is the aqidah problem really.
Because they don't really believe of the afterlife. Sama juga when the Prophet ﷺ came to Makkah, the concept of akhirat is not there kan. So they cannot just kena solat. So like Islam pun datang, Islam came also with aqidah first and then the rulings, right? So I think
let's elaborate for people what is akidah.
Our belief system like the concept of akhirat, the concept of Jannah, the concept of hellfire. So if that is not established, then these stories won't work lah.
So when you meet older people who struggle, you have students who say, oh, my brother doesn't want to pray, he's 25, 35. I mean, these things like, you're coming to me, it's not going to be a one-off answer.
Yalah.
It's this deep problem in Aqidah, so in the belief system. Right? So you must diagnose that was the problem. Right? Is it problem laziness or problem lack of belief or lack of priority? What's the problem? Diagnose. This is for adults lah. That's why starting from young is so easy, much easier. And you train them until the point whereby they will just go on with their prayers without anyone having to watch them. You know, Allah watches them. The issue is adults. But it goes back to belief.
But teenagers also it's not so easy. I mean, let's say before they get to the adult stage, so because once they're adults, it's really very difficult to get them praying 5 times a day again. That means the crucial time is the teenage time, especially if you missed out on the first 7 to 10 years.
Correct.
So I think many parents of teenagers really have a very hard time.
If you missed out the full nurturing from
And it's not just praying, it's many things.
issues with the teenagers.
Teenagers are probably the hardest to parent, especially in this day and age.
I mean, they are developing lah kan. It's teenage years.
Being a child and being an adult.
So if you have a daughter who's like 15, let's say 15, 16, and doesn't pray at all, despite let's say in her childhood or what, you
try.
Kind of a like good upbringing, but then just suddenly stops. So how would you advise such a parent?
In this situation,
specifically 15-year-old daughter.
They are young adults, and you have to give them the respect of a young adult. Just sit down, like have a discussion, not a nagging session, not a scolding session, but ask her, honesty. I don't see you praying. Do you have any issues or whatever? And tell me lah, what is the issue that why you're not praying? Talk about it. Dive deep. I'm not going to scold you. You're not going to get angry. It's not about me and you, but it's about you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So the bond has to be there first, huh? Talk about this.
Yeah. So I want to understand now where are you at. I know like a lot of the parents, my students they're not connected with their children
to have this kind of conversation.
What's happening with you with your life? What's happening with you with your life? I see a lot of changes in you. Tell me lah, share with me. But when, from the beginning there should be a bond now, conversation from the beginning. Because you are on where to discuss with them, they say no lah, nothing lah. Don't bother me lah, boring lah. They dismiss you.
So there's no bond in the first place, so they will dismiss you. So they will watch Demon Hunters together with bonds.
But teenagers really, you can't force anything. The only way is that you can dua, right? As hard as you can, and then if they are open to conversation, sit down and converse, right? And then say, I'm here for you if you really want to start changing. I am here to support you, right? But it is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I dua lah that InshaAllah, you get your footing, InshaAllah.
But usually the excuse is that like in school nobody else prays.
Or like lazy.
Or they just see it, nobody else does it lah. So like, why should I be different?
That's why we need to make them brave lah, to be different.
The rulings are ruling. But it goes back to a lot of years of
tarbiyah.
Upbringing. It's correct upbringing. This is the way our religion is. We are Muslims. This is what we do. Right? But of course, the whole thing was not there from the very beginning, and now they're like, I want to follow my friends, your foundation is not laid. You can't do anything if the foundation is not laid. You got to still lay the foundations.
But it's still not too late to lay the foundation when they are teenagers.
But that's why prevention is
better than cure.
Cure can be done, but cure is a lot of work.
Okay, what do you say to like a child kan? Like when you ask, okay, why do you not want to pray? And the child say, okay lah, about 10 to 15 lah. 10 to 15 lah, teens lah. So macam, oh, I'm lazy. So like, and then when we compare, okay, see how, why you cannot be like, this child A. Child A. Then they will say, oh, I want to be like child A, but I don't know how to be good like child A. I want to pray, but I'm lazy. Macam tu. So what do you say as a mother?
It's a very honest teenager.
As a mother.
Just lazy.
Malas lah.
Yeah.
Someone when nobody hits their children. In the past, we dare say that the Nota comes out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, our generation.
What is going to put and skin you?
So, that means they know how to pray, but then
They
the
just-
elder siblings pray.
Yeah, everybody in the house prays, but they admit they're lazy, but they tak tahu macam mana. She doesn't know how to overcome that laziness. So what do you say as a mother?
So in this case, our mother, my mother, like, she will talk to us now that when you pray, you're praying to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Allah give you all of these things that you have. Right? So she'll go in that way lah. That be grateful for Allah's blessings on you. Like push yourself. Of course. Sometimes you're lazy, you're tired, but it's something we have to do. The next world, you'll be so happy you did it. Right? And if you don't do it, it's going to be really difficult for you. It's a lot of discussion lah, and of course, InshaAllah, it will click in their heads, sooner or later, right? But there is a reason behind heaviness towards the prayer. I have a student, MashaAllah, she confided in me about her adult difficulty praying 5 times a day.
Also, there's a cause for laziness in prayer.
Yes.
What is it?
It's maksiat.
Oh, maksiat.
Sins.
Maksiat? At 10 years old ada maksiat?
When they're watching stuff.
Talking about teenagers.
Oh.
As a teenager also lah.
Yalah,
My
10 to
student
15
is an
lah.
adult lah. So like she will say that, I do notice that whenever I read a lot of romance novels, romance novels, I just get very, very heavy on Salah.
I see.
Because the blackness in the heart, the maksiat, the sins form of blackness in the heart makes you heavy towards worship. So if your child's like that, I'm looking around and see what is your child watching, what are they listening to, is there things that is really making them heavy towards acts of worship.
MashaAllah.
Budol in the back.
So need to watch the child punya, what the child is watching also.
It's
The
true. And she herself admit to me, whenever I read more and more of this, and she said erotic novels.
Oh, okay.
Romance, erotic. Allah. Awal zaman ya Rab.
books.
So ya Rab,
MashaAllah, itulah.
Of all books,
Itulah, of all books dia pick yang tu
You don't know how many of our kids are reading this material.
You better check. You better check.
Ya Allah. Every novel that is, if you're already past the Sisters Club or whatever, the twins novel, right? Ma used to not allow me to touch Sweet Very High.
Touch what?
Sweet Very High.
Sweet Very High.
By my time, there was this thing called Sweet Very High. So I would read the Business Club. I would read Nancy Drew. Last time, Hardy Boys. That kind of thing lah, adventure stories lah. But my mother, like, she would clamp down on certain types of reading. Books. Yeah, she would clamp down. But now there's a lot of books have a lot of sexual content. So all of these things, they contribute. They affect. And of course, if you go into adult novels, every adult novel, like every single movie, will have these elements.
Yeah.
Sexual elements inside. Confirm 100%. 100%. To the point I stopped reading all of these things because confirm will have.
So that means kids who are, not kids lah, teenagers, like 15 and above, who are exposed to these things, these things can contribute to the laziness and the reluctance to want to pray.
Yeah. Reading and watching.
It has effects on the spiritual state of the child lah, kan. Interesting.
So you can identify this as a source,
It's a source. Definitely sin is a source. So shaitan works on sin lah. Right? Sin is, Rasulullah said, it forms a black dot. In the heart. What is this black dot? It covers the light of worship. So the more someone is going deeper and deeper in sin, the harder it is for them to worship. And that's why the prayer itself, in the Quran, Allah says that it prevents fahsha and munkar. It prevents evil deeds and indecencies. Right? The other way is also true, that evil deeds and indecencies, right, can force a person away from the prayer. Because they're so dirty and filthy in what they have done. I don't want to pray, I don't want to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't want to become lazy and everything. A lot of things.
So subconsciously the soul is ashamed lah. It's ashamed, it's scared.
Just filthy lah, the soul. But of course, if tawbah, you cleanse yourself. And the prayer is a form of tawbah as well. The prayer commit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's a lot of things that parents have to see what your kids are doing. And why are they lazy on this? What are they watching? What are they, and even, but it's also a lot of talk with them. Because eventually you really have to throw the ball in their court. It's them and Allah. They must understand. It's them and Allah.
Okay, so basically for kids, we can divide them into ages, right? 0 to 5. This is just to summarize. 0 to 5, okay, wait, before that. Regardless of the age, dua is important. So it's great if parents can memorize the duas. And
even way before marriage, before pregnancy,
even before being a parent, they should already memorize these duas. Read them after every salat and so on. And then when they are 0 to 5, just pray as an example. They can see, they can follow, they can imitate, they can join in for the thrill of giving salams with the parents and so on, right? This is 0 to 5. And then 5 to 7, this is where the informational or the instructional part comes in, where you teach them over the course of 2 years how to recite the various surahs.
Talqin with them.
And also the dua kunut and all these things. All this is 5 to 7. And towards the end of the 5 to 7, which is basically from 6.5 years old to 7 years old, the final 6 months, every month try to make them promise that they're going to always pray one particular waktu, at least. Like for example, let's say we start month number 1, Muharram. Okay, so in this month I promise I'm not going to miss a single Maghrib. And then the subsequent month I promise I'm not going to miss a single Maghrib and a single Zuhur. And then over 5 months, the 5 waktus will not be missed anymore.
Subuh needs to be last.
Subuh needs to be last for...
Because it's the hardest. Because it's the hardest.
Riser is an early riser.
It depends on the kind of person lah.
Yeah, that's true lah. That's true. Different child, different. Okay.
So that's when they turn 7, they are already well established in praying 5 times a day. And then this is where it starts. They already know how to do it and they are already doing it. And then 7 to 10, what happens if they get lazy and if they fall short? So this is where we remind. We tell stories about stories for positive reinforcement. So stories, motivational stories about people of the past.
7 to 9.
Yeah, you still continue your positive stories.
But also
and also
the fear lah.
Deterring stories lah.
Deterring
stories
stories.
later on lah, right? Towards the 10.
Towards the 10-ish.
Okay.
If you were to give a guideline, it will look like this lah.
Okay.
And then, so basically that's it. That's a summary of kids lah. I think InshaAllah next episode,
InshaAllah.
hopefully we have time to record. We will do one for how to get your teenagers to pray.
Okay.
And I think that's a totally different ball game altogether.
Yeah.
It's not something that is
Not easy.
Some people who have teenagers, there could be a different approach. Okay, so InshaAllah, thank you all for listening. Hope everyone has benefited from this, and we will speak to you all next time.